Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to another lesson on our Quran translation lessons and understanding the Holy Quran and understanding the verses and the commentary. Today we are going to be studying 3 more verses from the Holy Quran, and they will be from a few verses, and we'll just pull those up now. So as I said, we'll be learning the English and Urdu translation to understand the background of each of the verses. So today we'll be studying from chapter 2, verses 77 to 79. But just before we get into that, it's always good to understand the verses we're about to study. And so I'll give a brief background of the verses before us. So in verse 77, the Holy Quran talks about another group of Jews. And remember, in the last verse, we spoke about one type of the group of Jews who would listen to the verses of the Holy Quran and go back to their people and twist those words. And so in these verses, in the first verse we're going to look at is verse 77. It's about a certain type of Jew who they chimed in with them from worldly motives, confirming the prophecies contained in their books about the Holy Prophet. But when they were away from Muslims and mixed with their own people, they behaved in quite a different way. For example, and so these Jews were quite hypocritical because on one hand, they knew the prophecies in their Torah, in their spiritual book, the holy book, about the coming of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But at the same time, they would dispute among the Muslims and they would say that it's not true. But in their hearts, they knew that it was true. So this was a sign of hypocrisy for them. In the second verse, 78, the verse points out that the Jews know that their own scriptures teach that God knows both what is hidden and what is disclosed. In Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 17, and also chapter 2, verse 22. And so even if they do not disclose their prophecies to the Muslims, God knows the whole truth and he will judge accordingly. And in the last verse, there's going to be a word we're going to study, which is ummiyun, which means illiterate persons, which is the plural of ummi, which means one who can neither write nor read. And the word is said to have been derived from which means mother, because someone who is just born can neither read nor write. And so the Quran has explained that these people have stayed at that state, have stayed on this level of like they're just born, like they do not understand or they cannot read or write from anything, from the holy books, all these prophecies which are being sent and being put forward in front of them. And so that's why it's another very important lesson for us. When we have this holy book, this holy Quran and all of the scriptures, it's really important that we not only read them, but we really understand them so that we can get out of this level of this first stage of not understanding or not being able to read, not being able to write. So that's why it's always important to excel as a believer. It's always to try to understand your religion, understand your faith, and of course other people's beliefs as well. And in the last verse, which we are talking about, verse 79, this is a third group of Jews which the Holy Quran has described, who have no knowledge of the book at all. They have only their own false notions or desires. And instead of trying to understand the book and basing their faith on conviction, they depend upon their own whims. Their knowledge is not based on God's book. They rather twist the book according to their own vain desires and false notions. It is a case of the wish being father to the thought. As the word also means reading or recitation, the verse in this sense would mean that the Jews only know the letter of the law and have lost all contact with its spirit. They read the book, but do not understand it. And if we just try to apply that today, if we just try to apply that to what we know now, many people try to quote the Quran or try to cherry pick verses from the Holy Quran. and other books as well, and try to twist it to go according to their own beliefs and their own thoughts and desires, and try to really put down the name of Islam and try to defame the Holy Quran. But in fact, these people have fallen into this category, fall into this third category of not having a clue of what the Holy Quran talks about, what the Holy Quran teaches us, and the peaceful word that it has. And so that's why it's really important for us, the people who have the book, to try to understand the Quran to the best of our knowledge so that we can teach or defend the word of God and the word of the Holy Quran against these people who do not wish to ever even open the book of the Holy Quran. So this is why we must always take lessons from the Holy Quran and lessons from people in the past. And so with that, we'll start with the verses, and I'll start with the recitation of the few verses to give glory to the word of Allah the Almighty. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذا لقوا الذين آمنوا قالوا آمنا وإذا خلا بعضهم إلى بعض قالوا وتحدثونهم بما فتح الله عليكم ليحاجوكم به عند ربكم أفلا تعقلون أولا يعلمون أن الله يعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون ومنهم أميون لا يعلمون الكتاب إلا أماني وإن هم. So now we're just going to go into the split word translation of these verses and try to understand word by word what they mean in English. وَإِذَا, and when لَقُوا الَّذِينَ أَقَلُوا, لَقُوا, they meet, الَّذِينَ, those who, آمَنُوا, they believed, قَالُوا, they said, آمَنَّا, we believed, wa, and إِذَا, when خَلَا, the meet in private, بعضهم, بعض, some, hum, them. Just to go back to this word laqu, you might recognize this, and it's a word which we actually say all the time when meeting beloved huzur, and that is mulaqat. And mulaqat literally means it's a noun form for meetings, and so this word comes from that. Laqu means they meet, and you might know in the program with Khalifa Rabi, laqa ma'al Arab, the meeting with the Arabs. So this word laqu is the past tense, the past tense plural, they meet. So this is something which is interesting to note, and it's a word which you know. So it's just a matter of breaking it down and understanding where the word comes from. So laqu, they meet. And then khala, meet in private, ba'duhum, some of them. Ila, towards, ba'din, towards some. Qalu, they said, atuhaddithunahum, do you inform them, bima, with what, fatahallahu, he disclosed or he opened, Allah, so Allah disclosed, ala, on, kum, you, alaykum, on you. And so they said, do you inform them with what Allah has disclosed to you? And fataha comes from, it is a past tense, which means he opened or he disclosed. So we know this as well from Surah Fatiha, the opening chapter. So Fatiha comes from fataha, which means he opened. So Fatiha, opening, the opening chapter of the Holy Quran, which is the first chapter of the Holy Quran. لِيُحَاجُّوكُمْ, li, so that yuhajukum, they argue to you, or they argue to you, bihi, with it, inda rabbihim, inda, before rabbihim, your Lord. Why? فَلَا, so not تَعْقِلُونَ, you understand. So why do you not understand? أَوَلَا, do not, يَعْلَمُونَ, they know, أَنَّ اللَّهَ, that indeed Allah, يَعْلَمُ, He knows, مَا, what, يُسِرُّونَ, they conceal, wa, and ma, what, يُعْلِنُونَ, they disclose, wa, and min, from whom, them, wa min whom, and from them, ummiyuna, illiterate ones, those who are illiterate, who cannot read, who cannot write. La, not, ya'lamuna, they know not, al-kitaba, the book, meaning the Holy Quran or the Torah, illa, except amaniya, false notions, wa, and in whom, and if, whom, they, illa, except yadhunnun, they conjecture, or they go upon their own thoughts. So this was quickly the English translation. I'll just go through the whole translation quickly. And when they meet those who believe, they say, we believe. And when they meet one another in private, they say, do you inform them of what Allah has unfolded to you or disclosed to you? That they may thereby argue with you before your Lord? Will you not then understand? Do they not know that Allah knows what they conceal and what they disclose? And some of them are illiterate. They know not the book, but their own false notions. And they do nothing but conjecture. So now we've understood the background of the verses, and when we read the whole translation, we get an idea, we get a picture of what these verses are, and we understand the history of these verses. So may Allah enable us to learn fully the translation and break each word down so that we can understand the Quran, which is in Arabic, to the best of our abilities, and learn from the Holy Quran and try to instill those teachings within us. And we'll go over the hard words at the end of the lesson as well, just to recap those words as well. उर्दू में وإذا और जब वो मिलते हैं الذين उनसे जो आमनु ईमान लाए कालू तो कहते हैं आमन्ना ईमान लाए हमने वإذा और जब खला अकेले होते हैं बादुहुम बाज उनके तरफ इला तरफ बाज़िन बाज के कालू तो कहते हैं अतुहद्दिथूनहुम बयान करते हो अतुहद्दिथूनहुम तुम उनसे बिमा वो जो फतह अल्लाहु खोला अल्लाह ने अलैकुम तुम पर लियुहज्जुकुम ताकि झगड़े वो तुमसे इंद रब्बिहिम लियुहज्जुकुम बिही इंद रब्बिहिम ताकि झगड़े वो तुमसे साथ उसके पास तुम्हारे रब के अफला क्या पस नहीं ताकिलून अकल करते हैं तुम अवला क्या नहीं यालमून जानते वो अन्नल्लाह कि अल्लाह यालमू जानता है अल्लाह मा युसिर्रूना जो कुछ वो छुपाते हैं वमा युअलिनून और जो कुछ वो जाहिर करते हैं व और मिनहुम बाज उनमें से उम्मीयून अनपढ़ हैं ला यालमून अलकिताबा नहीं जानते किताब को इल्ला सवाई अमानिया आरजुओं के व इनहुम और नहीं हम वो इल्ला यदुन्नून मगर गुमान करते हैं. And this was, we've reached, alhamdulillah, the first half of the first part of the Holy Quran, alhamdulillah. So we, as you know, each part of the Holy Quran is split up into quarters. So there are 30 parts in the Holy Quran, and now we have reached the first half of the first part. So may Allah also enable us to keep going and keep learning as much as we can, inshallah. So now we'll just go quickly over the hard words from what the verses we have learned today. So khala means aledgi mein milte hain, those who meet in private. Tuhaddithuna, you inform, you tell, tum bayan karte ho. Fataha, he opened, he disclosed, he unfolded. Usne khola, yuhaju, yuhaju, they will quarrel, or they quarrel, they discuss, or they argue. वो जगरेंगे, बहस करेंगे. So this first, when we learnt it, was in talking about the future tense. So that's why here it's in the future tense. But it means they argue, or they quarrel, they discuss. Afala, kya pas nahi, will not then. A, fa, la. So this is three words put together in one. A means will or is. Fa means so. And la means not. So will not then. Awala, this again is three words. A, wa, and la. Does he not? Does he not? So a means many different things depending on the context. Kya wo nahi. Ya'lamu, he knows. Wo jante hain, wo janta hai. Yusirruna, they keep secret. Wo chupate hain. Yu'linun, they make known. And ummiyun, illiterate ones, those who are uneducated. Unpar. So these were the hard words, and this has brought us to the end of our lesson today. So Jazakumullah and Jaza for watching and for trying to learn and wanting to learn. May Allah enable you to understand and myself to understand the Holy Quran and really try to learn the word of Allah the Almighty. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.